first of all, thank you to YWCA Chicago for this honor. I didn't know you created a whole category for me. That is incredible. Thank you for that, because I ain't fit into anything else. I've always been that person who didn't necessarily fit into one box, and I feel like that's why I'm here. So I'll basically tell you a little bit of my story. So I was 9 when my family moved to the United States. I was born in Nigeria, born and raised there. And we moved here when I was 9. I didn't know we were moving here. I thought we were coming on vacation. And then my mom enrolled me in school, and I was like, oh, so we're staying? Okay, cool. And we essentially started from scratch in terms of what we brought here, the people we left behind, and we built a new life here. So I would say about 7 or 8 years ago, no, actually, more like, about 9 years ago, I got a message on Facebook from someone whose name I could never forget. Told me it was my first ever best friend. We actually had been best friends since we were 2. We went to the same private school. We went through every grade together in Nigeria. So when I left there, I kind of lost contact with her. And all those years later, she finds me on Facebook, which was like, what? Bananas. And I think that was like 2007, so yeah, about 10 years ago. And that might have been the moment that I really realized the power of social media is like a great connector. Since then, and possibly earlier without me being conscious of it, I've been harnessing the power of the web to speak on what I believe in and to be critical of the world around me. I'm basically a professional troublemaker. And blogging has kicked down doors for me that were previously locked, and it's taken me to places I never even knew existed, or places like a week and a half ago, I was at Oprah Winfrey's house for a brunch. Stop it, it was overwhelming, crazy. And when I created the Red Pump Project in 2009 with Karen Watkins, what started as a simple call for fellow bloggers to talk about HIV and AIDS on Girls' AIDS Day turned into a whole nonprofit movement that I'm still executive director of 9 years later. And we're getting women from all over the world to do something as simple as putting on red shoes every year on March 10th and letting us know why they care about the HIV and AIDS epidemic. We're empowering women through events around the country and workshops that arm them with information that is potentially life-saving. And we're meeting women and girls where they hang out, online, in schools, at bars, with this information, because to talk about, you know what, if we can talk about really important issues like HIV on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, we can have these conversations with each other in real life better. So for me, I think my purpose is to make people laugh and to make folks think critically. And I've been told that I say what others want to, but they can't because they have a filter and a job. I work for myself, so I don't have a job, potentially. And I want to change the world, and I think social media has allowed me to be that much closer to doing that with one tweet. Like, my dream job is always a tweet away. My dream partnership with a brand is always a tweet away. My next mentor always feels like a tweet away. And for me, also, I think social media has been instrumental in allowing me to speak truth to power in a world where not enough people are bold enough to do it, and where women are told to be silent. So in a world that wants us to whisper, I choose to yell. And social media has been, thank you. It's been a great vessel for it, and which is why the success of my first book, I'm Judging You, the Do Better Manual, has also kind of changed my life, because these platforms where I have this large audience that I don't take for granted. They call themselves Love Nation. Shout out to Love Nation. And just having these platforms and having access to people every single day, hundreds of thousands of people every single day, is something that I don't take for granted. And I feel like service on this platform looks like me speaking truth, looks like me saying the things that are difficult, especially when they're difficult, because that's when they're typically most necessary. So my commitment to the world at large, and to the people who raised me, and to the people who can pull me in at any given time, is that I will always use my voice and my platform to speak for the marginalized and to speak for the people who aren't often given the mic. And I realize that now I'm in a position of privilege to be on stages like this in front of amazing people. So while I'm here, my job is to disrupt the status quo. So YWCA, you are constantly disrupting the status quo. You're constantly speaking truth to power. And your mission is exactly what inspires people like me to do the work that we do. And again, we don't have anybody to answer to. So when we're in these positions, we gotta make noise. So thank you for this. And buy my book, I'm judging you.